A few days ago, Donald Trump made a statement that shocked the world.
We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
When a journalist asked why the United States want to acquire Greenland instead of simply increasing its military presence there, Trump replied with a chilling explanation.
Mr. President, why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect security?
Because when we own it, we defend it.
That single sentence raises an important question. Why is Greenland so important that the world's biggest powers are willing to fight over it?
We need Greenland for national security.
Greenland's story begins in the 10th century when a Viking named Eric the Red arrived after being exiled from Iceland. To attract settlers, he gave the frozen land a misleading name, Greenland. For centuries, Norse settlers lived there. Then mysteriously, by the 15th century, they vanished. Historians believe extreme cold or conflicts with intuited populations forced them out. In 1721, Danish missionaries arrived, marking the start of colonial rule. By 1814, Greenland officially became part of Denmark. The United States first entered the Greenland story in 1916 during World War I. Denmark sold the Danish West Indies to the US, and in return, the US recognized Denmark's control over Greenland. Everything changed during World War II. In 1940, Germany occupied Denmark. The US feared that German forces would use Greenland as a launch point near North America. In 1941, Danish diplomat Henrik Kaufmann secretly signed an agreement allowing American troops into Greenland. This became known as the Defense of Greenland Agreement. It was the first permanent US military presence on Greenland's soil. After the World War II, the Cold War began almost immediately. America's new enemy was the Soviet Union. Greenland suddenly became one of the most strategic places on Earth. The US built Tool Air Base, now called Pitofik Space Base, to detect incoming Soviet nuclear missiles. Greenland sits near the GIUK Gap, the narrow sea passage between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK. Whoever controls this gap controls military and trade movement across the North Atlantic. In 1946, the US President Harry S. Truman even tried to buy Greenland. Denmark refused, but allowed the US to expand its military presence even further. When the Cold War ended in 1991, Greenland briefly disappeared from global attention. Then, climate change changed everything.
This is the region warming faster than anywhere else on Earth. And as the climate changes, so does its strategic importance.
As Arctic Sea melts, new shipping routes are opening. Trade that once took months can now be completed in weeks. At the same time, Greenland's vast natural resources are becoming accessible, especially rare earth minerals. These minerals are essential for smartphones, electric vehicles, AI chips, and advanced weapons. This is where China enters the story. China has invested heavily in Greenland's economy. Chinese companies control access to a significant portion of Greenland's rare earth resources. China also declared itself a near-Arctic state and expanded influence through the Belt and Road Initiative. At the same time, Russia increased military activity across the Arctic. For the US, this is a nightmare scenario. China dominates rare earth minerals, Russia dominates Arctic geography, and Greenland sits between them, right next to North America. This is why Donald Trump wants Greenland, not for its ice, but for security, trade control, and resource dominance. Trump believes that if the US doesn't secure Greenland, China or Russia eventually will. But here's the reality. Since 2009, Greenland has self-rule. Denmark still handles defense and foreign policy, but Greenland controls its internal affairs. And Greenlanders are clear about one thing: Greenland belongs to Greenlanders. a frozen land with just 56,000 people, now sits at the center of a global power struggle. Between the United States, China, Russia, and Denmark, what happens next will shape the future of the Arctic and possibly the balance of world power itself. Because in the modern world, the coldest places often become the hottest battlegrounds. If you found this story fascinating, you will love our video on aliens' existence. Click here to watch it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.